Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M, and I'm back with yet another video today. I'm making this video Thursday night, December 22nd. The Christmas season is here. We can't deny it anymore. It's here. Christmas is a couple of days away. And I wanted to wish all of you, every single last one of you, a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or, whatever holiday you celebrate in the winter season. Happy that. And of course, if I don't make a video, I probably will, but it doesn't matter. I'll wish you a happy holidays and a happy new year, just in case. Um, so I hope everybody's having a marvelous time. I made some more goddamn cookies tonight. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm sick of Christmas. And it's not even here yet. We got 3 more days. Lord. I have noticed about this Christmas season that usually the stores are just overflowing with people. Wherever you go, there's like pandemonium, a crowd, all kinds of shit. This year, not so much. Not, at least here in Southern California, at least where I live, people are not spending the kind of money that they usually spend, okay, on food, on gifts, on whatever. The price of gasoline has gone down a little bit, but it's still over $4 a gallon. What did I pay the other day? Like $4.50 something. It was a lot, but anyway. I got a little break tonight, so I decided to go ahead and do the video that I've been wanting to do, okay? No, it's not The Shining. No, it's not Kill Bill. No, it's not Hunter. But I did in the community tab. Not that one. But I did promise that I would do a video about The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci. And here it is, okay? Here it is. Oh, here it is. And here's the wiki page about Leonardo. And this is not going to be your typical Leonardo da Vinci Last Supper lecture or video or whatever you've grown accustomed to hearing whenever this subject is brought up. No. So you could just get that right out your mind right away. Do not expect the expected with me. Expect the unexpected, because that's kind of what I do. But and by the way, we're not going to talk about. Well, we are going to talk about. I'm going to mention it. In. I have nothing but bad things to say about this. Okay, what you see before you, the Da Vinci Code, whether it's the book or the movie. I don't know. Did they make like more of them? Was there a sequel? I don't give a shit. Forget this fucking thing. But it's not going to be what you usually expect when you deal with Leonardo da Vinci in general, or this particular painting, mural, really, in whatever source. Okay, whatever source that you come upon. I'm just opening stuff over here just to get my ass ready. I'm never ready to go. I'm never ready. Come on, file. Let's go. Ultima Cena. Da Vinci. I just want this open so I can blow it up and show it to you. Oh, my computer's being nice and slow today. I apologize for that. So let me go on and do the church announcements. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah, here we are. So this is my videos page. Okay, last one was the Twilight Zone one. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't expect a lot of views. Okay, I didn't expect the amount of views that I get, for example, like when I do a Shining video. Last one, 830 views. For me, that's a huge number of views. For like a good channel, that's nothing. For me, that's like, oh wow, I'm just thrilled. But I don't know if I gave you any food for thought with this one. I know I was taking like a little bit of a chance because this is a heavily like charged subject. and especially like where I took it. Okay, so but I felt that it needed to be said. I felt that I had something to say, and I went ahead and I said it, and here we are. So anyway, without further ado, here go the church announcements. New viewers, thank you for being new. Returning viewers, thank you for returning. Subscribers, thank you for subscribing. All 250 of you, I'm just over the moon about that number. Every time I see a new subscriber, I just get so happy. So every one of you who subscribed, I appreciate you all so very much. And, if you're brand new, consider subscribing. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video or any of the other ones that you like with somebody that you think would enjoy my particular brand of nonsense. And that's that. I don't know when I'll be like doing paid promotions or anything, like, affiliate marketing or whatever. I don't know when I'll get into that again. That's a whole nother like thing. I tried it, wasn't really into it. It's like extra work for nothing. That's my New Year's resolution, y'all. To step my game up and to like get with the program with this YouTubing and social media thing. I don't think I'm going to make a career of this. I do have my own jobs, plural, going on. But I would love to have, I mentioned gasoline. I would love for this like little YouTube thing to be my gas money or something. That would be awesome. So, if I get to 1,000 subscribers, who knows? I might be able to afford to put gas in my car. I mean, I can't afford it now, but if just so it's not a burden, or just like, go out for a nice coffee or a juice every now and again. Maybe pay a bill. Who knows? But that's my goal, and I'm enjoying this immensely, immensely, immensely. So, you guys, like I said, I'm going to talk about this individual here, Leonardo, and specifically this year. Yeah, I'm going to enlarge it so it did open up. Okay. Enlarge it and just talk about it a little bit and like see what's going on. This is the original. This is an image of the original mural in Milan at Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan. Okay, now let's start with the artist because there's this lore, this legend built up around this individual. Okay, Leonardo di Piero da Vinci. Okay, this is his birth and death dates. Was an Italian polymath of the High Renaissance who was active as a painter, draftsman, engineer, scientist, theorist, sculptor, and architect, while his family name initially rested on his achievements as a painter. Family name, no, sorry. So, it's been a long day. While his fame initially rested on his achievements as a painter, he also became known for his notebooks, in which he made drawings and notes on a variety of subjects, including anatomy, astronomy, botany, cartography, painting, and paleontology. Leonardo is widely regarded to have been a genius who epitomized the Renaissance humanist ideal, and his collective works comprise a contribution to later generations of artists matched only by that of his younger contemporary Michelangelo. Listen, this is the. I think you probably already know this about him. He was everything. He was just everything. He did it all. He did look at this list that I just read off to you. I'm not going to do it again. But there's what it isn't a question of what he did. It's a question of what he didn't do. Genius, etc. You're going to have to excuse me. You're going to have to forgive me. But something within me is, the bullshit meter is registering. Let's just put it that way. And it tells you about his life. He was born out of wedlock, so he was a love child to a successful notary and a lower-class woman in or near Vinci. He was educated in Florence by the Italian painter and sculptor Andrea del Verrocchio. He began his career in the city, but then spent much time in the service of Ludovico Sforza in Milan. That's who commissioned The Last Supper, Ludovico Sforza. Now, what I could do, which I'm not going to do, because this is already, you know me, you should know me by now. If you don't like long videos, click off right now. But I could, I'll suggest this. I won't go into this for you, but I'll suggest this to you. Do look at this Renaissance humanist link here. Okay, that's just kind of essential when looking at Renaissance art, and specifically for Leonardo Ludovico Sforza as well. That's him, right there, the arbiter of Italy, Lord. And you go and learn about Ludovico, all right, and because he's integral to the story, at least of The Last Supper. He worked in Florence and Milan again, as well as briefly in Rome, all while attracting a large following of imitators and students. Upon the invitation of Francis I, he spent his last 3 years in France, where he died in 1519. Since his death, there has not been a time where his achievements, diverse interests, personal life, and empirical thinking have failed to incite interest and admiration, making him a frequent namesake and subject in culture. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of that, go through the rest of it, but that gives you an idea. He's famous. Famous. And sometimes I wonder why. Personally, I know that sounds crazy. But you're here. You know who you're talking to, right? You're talking to Miss M from The Object of Art. That's who you're talking to. Or no, you're not talking to me. I'm talking at you. That's who's talking at you. Miss M, me, from The Object of Art. Listen, I don't do anything like regular, degular, schmegular. No. That shout out to Alexander Rogers. No. We're going to look at this with a critical eye. When I say we, I mean me. No, I'm not royalty. But anyway, so his life, it's just a cute little story. And this is his mentor, Verrocchio's work over here, if you want to take a look at it, The Baptism of Christ. All right, look through Verrocchio, look through all this stuff. All right, his Milanese period. Through 1499. Okay, some of his sketches, some of his I don't know what the hell this is. The Vitruvian Man. Oh, he's famous for that too. A trompe-l'oeil painting. Is this one of his? I don't know. This is an unfinished one, The Virgin and Child, with Saint Anne. Saint Anne was Mary's mother, Jesus' grandma. Okay. And unfinished works, and there's like a lot of stuff, and people say, oh, if you want to know about the greatness of Leonardo da Vinci, don't necessarily look at his paintings, look at his notebooks. Okay, all right. His personal life, I'm not going to get into that. That ain't none of my business. But his paintings, his early works, paintings of the 1480s, 1490s, one of which is The Last Supper. Then there's the famous Mona Lisa, or La Gioconda, 1503 to 1516, in the Louvre, 1516. What did it say? When did he die? 50. So 3 years before he died, I guess, he made La Gioconda, the Mona Lisa, right? His drawings, presumed self-portrait. I'm glad they're actually using these qualifying words, because a lot of stuff about this guy, of this person, this individual, is merely presumed or assumed. Okay? All right? Now, you might see throughout these pages to do with Leonardo, you might see many mentions of Martin Kemp. He is the preeminent Leonardo da Vinci scholar. And you might see a lot of mentions of Giorgio Vasari. Giorgio Vasari was like the head hopper of his time, especially in regard to the arts, in Renaissance Italy. He's the one that basically wrote the biographies of all of these artists. He was their like number one PR man. That's why I say he was the head of hopper of his time for this subject. He sure was. So if you want to know more about the Renaissance, or there's his name, look, Vasari. Ooh, check it out. Okay, check it out. Now it's kind of interesting, like, I guess a modern day figure who would maybe be similar to a Giorgio Vasari would be like Donald Cuspit. And if you remember from some of my Hunter Biden videos, Donald Cuspit like wrote a whole essay about Hunter Biden's work, and wrote a lot, but didn't say a goddamn thing. So now you have an idea, at least in my opinion. This is the part of the page on him, on Leonardo da Vinci, that I find most interesting. Location of remains. They don't even know if he's even in his grave, or his alleged grave. Something's wrong. It was, look at this here. Tomb in the chapel of Saint Hubert at the Chateau d'Amboise, where a plaque describes it as the presumed site of Leonardo's remains. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. But I don't know if we're going to talk about that. Maybe not. I don't know. I just don't know. But something's wrong. Okay, well, I might read a little bit of this. Let me go ahead and do it. Well, Leonardo was certainly buried in the collegiate church of Saint-Florentin at the Chateau d'Amboise in 12th of August, 1519. The current location of his remains is unclear. Why? Oh, Lord, much of Chateau d'Amboise was damaged during the French Revolution, leading to the church's demolition in 1802. Some of the graves were destroyed in the process, scattering the bones interred there and thereby leaving the whereabouts of Leonardo's remains subject to dispute. A gardener may have even buried some in the corner of the courtyard. A gardener? The fuck? Do you see why I'm having trouble with this? I don't know. In 1863, Fine Arts Inspector General Arsène Houssaye received an imperial commission to excavate the site and discovered a partially complete skeleton with a bronze ring on one figure, white hair, and stone fragments bearing the inscriptions EO, AR, DUS, and VINC, interpreted as Leonardo da Vinci. The skull's 8 teeth correspond to some of approximately the appropriate age, and a silver shield found near the bones depicts a beardless Francis II, corresponding to the king's appearance during Leonardo's time in France. Houssaye postulated that the unusually large skull was an indicator of Leonardo's intelligence. Author Charles Nicholl describes this as a dubious phrenological deduction. Yep. At the same time, Houssaye noticed some issues with his observations, including that the feet were turned toward the high altar, a practice generally reserved for laymen, and that the skeleton of 1.73 meters, or 5.7 feet, seemed too short. Art historian Mary Margaret Heaton wrote in 1874 that the height would be appropriate for Leonardo. How does she know that? Lord! The skull was allegedly presented to Napoleon III before being returned to the Chateau d'Amboise, where they were reinterred in the chapel of Saint Hubert in 1874. A plaque above the tomb states that its contents are only presumed to be those of Leonardo. Okay. It has since been theorized that the folding of the skeleton's right arm over the head may correspond to paralysis of Leonardo's right hand. In 2016, it was announced that DNA tests would be conducted to determine whether the attribution is correct. The DNA of the remains will be compared to that of samples collected from Leonardo's work and his half-brother Domenico's descendants. It may also be sequenced. In 2019, documents were published revealing that Houssaye had kept the ring and lock of and a lock of hair. In 1925, his great-grandson sold these to an American collector. 60 years later, another American acquired them, leading to them being displayed at the Leonardo Museum in Vinci, beginning on the 2nd of May 2019, the 500th anniversary of the artist's death. Oh, this just I don't believe it. I just flat out say it so you know exactly where I stand. I don't believe none of this. And neither should you. But never mind all that. Once again. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about all that, even though I just talked about it. I'm here to talk about one painting in particular. Here is the Wikipedia page that lists the works of Leonardo da Vinci. Okay? This is why I love Wikipedia. I don't give a shit who has what to say. Yeah, I know reading books is better. I know that. Okay? I'm going to go off on a little rant here. I know that going to the library and reading books is better. I know that. I'm not fucking stupid. At least I don't think I am. Maybe I am. Who the fuck knows? But there's nothing wrong with Wikipedia. It helps point you in maybe not the right direction, but a direction, any direction. As far as if you're doing research, do not feel ashamed of using Wikipedia. Because they get their stuff from somewhere. Look at all these damn notes down here. Look at this. So they had to do something to get to this. So I want to know who these people are who work for Wikipedia. Are they freelancers? Are they like consultants? Like what status do they have? And they maintain these pages like with an iron fist. So I don't know who they are, but you know, there's that issue. Like we don't know who the editors of these things are. They might have an agenda. I don't know. But anyway, here's a list of works by Leonardo da Vinci. Now, just imagine how long it would take you, viewer and or listener, to compile this list. That's okay. Wikipedia did it for you. Now, look at this. So we have major extant works. All right. We have 3 categories. Universally accepted, which means unanimously accepted works. Widely accepted, which means accepted by a large majority of modern scholars, controversial in the past. And generally accepted, meaning accepted by most modern scholars, still controversial. So what you want is universally accepted. Okay, that makes sense, doesn't it? These other categories, I don't know what to think. So what this means is there are a bunch of works in this list. Look at me scroll through them. There's a bunch. And not all of them, you know, I guess they're still debating as to whether or not each and every one of these on this list was actually done by the actual real Leonardo da Vinci. Okay? So we have look at how many of them are either widely or generally accepted. Okay, the Annunciation, Madonna of the Carnation, the Baptism of Christ, which painted mainly by Andrea del Verrocchio. Really. I don't have time to go into Andrea del Verrocchio. I do not. I don't. But I wish I did, because something tells me something's going on here. Ginevra de' Benci, widely accepted, universally accepted. The Adoration of the Magi is universally accepted. So I'm going to count on my hand. 1 that's universally accepted. Here goes another one. Saint Jerome in the Wilderness, universally accepted. Okay. Another one. Virgin of the Rocks, not on the rocks. Of the Rocks. That's the 3rd one. Universally accepted. Okay. And the Last Supper, that's the 4th one, that's universally accepted. Okay. Sala delle Asse, that's the 5th one, that's universally accepted. I hope I haven't lost count. So, hold on, let me do it again. Sorry. Okay. No. Widely, universally, and this one, Sala delle Asse, that's 5. Okay. There's 6. Virgin and Child with Saint Anne and Saint John the Baptist. This is important. Let me open it up in another tab, just cause. That's 6. Did I say 6? Yeah, that's the 6th one. That's universally accepted. Okay. And then 7, the Virgin and Child with Saint Anne. Universally accepted. Is that 7? I don't know. Mona Lisa, universally accepted, but it's unfinished. Okay, they've determined that it's unfinished. So that's 7 or 8. Oh, I'm going to have to count again. God damn it. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, 8. Okay, so we got 8 that are universally accepted. All right. Okay. Now, I'm not talking about manuscripts. I'm not talking about lost works, allegedly. Not talking about that. And they don't even have that categorization, the allegedly lost works. Okay, if they're lost, then what are they doing here? Oh, Lord. Okay, disputed works. Okay, so there's a bunch of disputed works. Madonna and Child with a Pomegranate. Tobias and the Angel. Workshop of Verrocchio with a possible contribution by Leonardo. Okay, the Holy Infants Embracing. Who the hell are the Holy Infants? Hold on now. Oh yeah, John the Baptist. Yeah, we're going to talk about him. Lord. Virgin of the Rocks, Cher Ami. All right. Young Christ. Oh Lord, Christ carrying the cross. Oh, Isleworth. Isleworth or Isleworth, I don't know. Its proponents claim that this is the earlier of 2 versions of the Mona Lisa, painted for Francesco del Giocondo, husband of Lisa, in 1503, and that the Louvre version was painted for Giuliano de' Medici. Okay, so, y'all, you thought the Mona Lisa was a mysterious painting. I bet you did. I bet you there's a reason it's called La Gioconda. They say, who is it? Look, it says right there who it is. For the husband of the lady in the picture, her name is Lisa. Francesco del Giocondo. Okay, cool. Horse and rider. Oh, he did sculptures. This is allegedly a self-portrait. Or not a self-portrait, but a portrait. This is also supposed to be a portrait of him. Another disputed. These are all disputed. And the reason why they're disputed is because for a lot of paintings, they just didn't keep very good records. Okay? It's kind of not hard to understand, not hard to believe. The provenance, like figuring out the provenance of a lot of these things, including these damn notebooks. I don't know why they're so sure about these, but whatever. But, figuring what is the provenance, like tracing like where that thing has been and who has been in possession of it or owned it or purchased it or sold it or whatever. That's the provenance. So the history of the existence of the thing. That's the provenance. It's hard to trace because usually something, or an art historian or some kind of researcher would know something if there's like receipts left over in an archive somewhere. For a lot of these, there very well might not be any receipts or any documentation as to like the agreement that the artist and the person who commissioned the work entered, or the bill of sale, or whatever. A lot of times these things don't exist, and when they don't exist, and somebody just makes a claim, so whoever makes a claim that such and such painting is or was done by, in this case, who we're talking about, Leonardo da Vinci, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's just a claim without documentation. And that's where experts come in and try to figure shit out. And they might never, ever come to a definitive conclusion about whether or not something is actually a real, honest-to-goodness, true Leonardo, or whatever other artist that you're talking about. There are like forged, fake Vincent van Goghs floating around all over the place, and that's like the art worlds or the world of museums is like dirty little secret. Sometimes, I don't know if I mentioned this already in another video, but sometimes a lot of these museums know, they sure as hell know that they are displaying fake paintings that are not authentic. They were not really done by the artist that they're claiming it was done by, but they don't care. Maybe because like they paid a lot of money for it, or like whoever donated it is a big name kind of person, and they don't want to piss that person off by saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, we somebody took a look at it. No, this is a forgery. We X-rayed it. Like no, this is not from the time period when where they claim it's from. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, they're not going to do that." Or maybe the forgery itself, or the fact that it's a forgery, generates a great deal of notoriety and therefore good press for them. All publicity is good publicity, as they say, or there's no such thing as bad publicity. Yeah, so the Orlando Museum thing, as horrible as it was and as scandalous as it was in one of my not former, but past videos. You can scroll through. It's in here somewhere. Damn it. Yeah, Orlando Museum of Art update, true crime art. That what they were up to, that is not uncommon. The Orlando Museum, not uncommon at all. So it's horrible, but it's done quite regularly. Anyway, so out of all of these here, okay, all, look at this damn thing. This huge ass list. Out of all of these ones here, the only ones the only ones that are quote unquote universally accepted as being genuine, bona fide, certified Leonardo da Vinci works, 8 of them. 8 of them. 8. 8. 8. All right. I that should tell you something. Okay? And don't hate yourself for being suspicious. That's actually kind of healthy. Anyway, this Last Supper is universally accepted. What else? Here it is, right? There's another one. Oh, this one. Is this one universally accepted? The Virgin with... Hold on. Yes, this one is also universally accepted with Saint Anne and Saint John the Baptist. So, y'all, something is going on here that is making me awfully suspicious. Okay, yes, I'm rambling. I know why I'm rambling. And this, the Holy Infants embracing. So John the Baptist is Jesus's cousin, according to this here. Okay, I'm not going to get into this painting because, like, I don't have that kind of time. This is already going to be a long video. I've already passed the half-hour mark. But look at this. This little, pop-up thing. I'm not just going to talk about, like, what's going on with the Last Supper. I'm going to talk about some other shit, too. But, I'm going to take a little coffee break and come back. I mean, it's like I talk like I have commercial breaks. I do not. I just want to let you know, like, where I'm at and where I'm coming from as I make this thing. We're going to, in the next leg of this journey, we are going to talk about this thing. The Last Supper by Leonardo, Italian Il Cenacolo, or L'Ultima Cena, is a mural painting by the Italian High Renaissance artist Leonardo da Vinci, dated to circa 1495 to 1498. The painting represents the scene of the Last Supper of Jesus with the 12 apostles as it is told in the Gospel of John. That's very important. Please remember that, as it is told in the Gospel of John. Specifically, the moment after Jesus announces that one of his apostles will betray him. Its handling of space, mastery of perspective, treatment of motion, and complex display of human emotions has made it one of the Western world's most recognizable paintings and among Leonardo's most celebrated works. Some commentators consider it pivotal in inaugurating the transition into what is now termed the High Renaissance. Oh, Lord. Okay, so the High Renaissance means the most developed part of the Renaissance, like when the Renaissance was the best that it was going to get. All right, that same thing with like high classicism as far as Greek art. Same, when they say high, that's what they mean, like the best of that period, historically. Let me just finish this. I'll read this thing all the way through. The work was commissioned as part of a plan of renovations to the church and its convent buildings by Leonardo's patron Ludovico Sforza. Like I said, I don't have time to get into him, but he was the Duke of Milan. Okay, in order to permit his inconsistent painting schedule and frequent revisions, it is painted with materials that allowed for regular alterations. Tempera on gesso, pitch, and mastic. Due to the methods used, a variety of environmental factors and intentional damage. Intentional damage. Little of the original painting remains today, despite numerous restoration attempts, the last being completed in 1999. Housed in the refectory of the convent of Santa Maria della Grazia in Milan, Italy, The Last Supper is his largest work, aside from Sala delle Esse. Okay, listen, yo. I'm not going to talk about Sala delle Esse. I might look at it in my own time. So, the size of this freaking thing. Look at the dimensions. I said I was going to take a coffee break, but I just got on a roll. 181 inches by 346 inches. That's a lot. That's big. That's huge. And it said, type, tempera on gesso, pitch, and mastic, High Renaissance, 1495 to 1498. So it took him 3 freaking years to paint this thing. And what they talk about here, I don't know if they mention it in the thing. I know a little bit about this painting on my own, so I don't really need to rely on Wikipedia. This thing started to crumble from the wall. It's a mural done on... Let me show you. What am I doing? This is... Yeah, that's why Wikipedia is awesome, too. We have these awesome photos, y'all. Awesome photos. This is the refectory. All right, what's a refectory? Basically a dining hall. Okay, basically a dining hall. And this place was bombed to smithereens during the Second World War in, I think, approximately 1943. And somehow this thing survived. Okay, somehow this thing survived. You see little pieces of it are missing up here. So this whole wall was dedicated to the mural. It's a mural. It's done directly on the wall, on the plaster, okay? And the reason it started crumbling and deteriorating, not but 20 years after its completion, was because Leonardo was messing around with paint. He was messing around with paint. He was messing around with, he wasn't doing the job the way he should have been doing it in order for the paint to really, really, really stick to the prepared wall with the plaster and whatever. He was experimenting, because the way I learned it, again, back in school, from the books I read, yes, books from a library, not Wikipedia, was the way mural is supposed to be done is the artist is supposed to kind of divide up this space, or this flat plane, into squares, and then you do your sketch, and you do what's called a cartoon, which is a big old piece of paper, and the outline of the drawing is done on that great big piece of paper or cardboard or whatever, with perforations, and the perforations create lines, kind of like a coloring book, but the lines are kind of dotted lines or perforated lines, and they put that up on the wall, and then they take a brush with this powder over it, and then they I think it's called pouncing, if I'm not mistaken, Pounce, pouncing, and then they take that brush and go poof, 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 poof on top of the paper, and then when they remove the paper, then the outline drawing for the thing is there, and then they, again, divide it up into squares, and they work on one square at a time. Okay, because that's the process, that you have to prepare the plaster just so, and then paint on top of the plaster so that the paint will take and adhere to the surface, and so that it won't start crumbling off. Hopefully ever, but definitely not as soon as 20 years. Leonardo didn't do none of that. He wanted to paint the whole thing all at once. He wanted to go here, there, and everywhere and paint it like he was painting a painting on a canvas, on an easel. Or not a canvas, but maybe a wooden board, something like that. He shouldn't have done that. And why he did that, people like Martin Kemp or whoever speculate that, he loved science and he loved experimentation and he was experimenting. And that's why he was doing that. That still sounds like, I don't know, like a cop-out to me. Like Ludovico Sforza was paying him to do this. And Ludovico Sforza probably didn't want a mural that would start falling off the wall. So there's that. There's a lot more to it than my little explanation there. But, that's the kind of the very, 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 very abbreviated version of everything. And just look at this room. So this room has been rebuilt. I'm pretty sure it has. Don't quote me. Look it up. But again, this thing was bombed to smithereens in May, I think, of 1943. Big ass bomb fell here, and all of these buildings in this monastery, a Dominican monastery in Milan, bought and financed by Ludovico Sforza, it was destroyed. Just destroyed. And some of the artworks survived. Some people think it's miraculous because they're religious artworks depicting religious figures, and that's why they survived. I don't know about that. So this was a dining hall where the monks and the abbot, and at times Ludovico Sforza, would just take their meals. And Ludovico Sforza was proud of this Santa Maria della Grazie complex, and he would have guests over, and he would want to show this place off. And they would eat in this room, this reconstructed room. They've got this right. The door over here, at the time, this was the entrance to this area. I don't think that you can just walk in here anymore. I think you have to get, disinfected or whatever before you come in here, because this thing is so old and so fragile. And as the thing said, very, very little, if any, of the original paint remains on the wall. So, let me stop right there. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep talking about this. But let me stop right there. Let me take a little coffee break. I'm going to jump on over to this, okay, while I'm talking about this, or here. Because as I've already explained, this infuriates me. And this infuriates me even more. But we'll get to it after I've had my coffee. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Anywho. So what was I saying? I can't remember everything I said. But I was talking about this, right? The inside of the refectory. Or this reconstructed refectory. You see the building. You see the inside of the room. It's a long, narrow room. Okay? And at the time, as far as I've read in books, there would have been a large U-shaped table, okay, on this side of the room where this photo is being taken from. And that would have been where all the monks and whoever at this monastery, Santa Maria della Grazia, would have sat and taken their meals. Okay? And there were windows. Are there still windows? I guess there are. I don't know. If they're reconstructed, they're reconstructed. But this side of the room was windows. This side of the room was not. So when they obviously reconstructed this thing, they were trying to, I guess, stay true to the original, whatever. And so anyway, this is where they ate. The U-shaped table was over here. And this table that you see in the painting would have visually completed the fourth side of that U-shaped table. So to the monks and whoever was sitting in there eating, visually, with his trick of the eye, trompe-l'oeil, that he was pulling when he was doing this thing, it would have looked like Jesus and the apostles were sitting down to a meal with the monks and the abbot and whoever else was in there. Okay, so that is why, one of the reasons why when this painting is analyzed, they look at the perspective, okay? They look at, he's using 1-point perspective here, and every single one of these lines on the ceiling, these tapestries on the wall, every single thing, all the vanishing point is not Jesus's face. It's like right above. If you follow these lines, right above Jesus's head, and that just doesn't make any sense at all, because right above Jesus's head is this opening here, these 3 doors, probably symbolizing the Trinity. Okay. And the reason why he did that was so that the people sitting down in this room would look. It's hard to explain. From a vantage point anywhere in this room, Jesus would have been the vanishing point. But when you're this painting was obviously not meant to be looked at straight on like this. It was meant to be looked at with like your head tilted back, upward. So you're looking up at this painting. Look at this man in this room. He's probably an ordinary sized man, maybe about, anywhere between like 5'8" and 6 feet tall. So that's how, and he's closer to the camera than he is to this wall over here. So I guess if he were closer to the wall, he'd be even smaller. So that gives you an idea of how far up off the floor this thing is and was. Okay, and that's one thing. All right, that's one thing. Another thing is, look at this door. This would have been, I guess, the original entry into the room. And when you enter the room, and the first thing you see, more or less, would be this mural. You would, of course, be drawn to it. And Leonardo did kind of a skewed perspective thing, where when you looked up at this painting, Jesus is looking down, and to his, capital H, his left. So he's looking down towards this door. Do you see this? And on top of that, Jesus' left hand is facing up. Okay, so it's facing up and it's pointed again towards that door, towards that entryway for this room. So when you enter this room to come in and sit down and have a meal, Jesus greeted you, visually anyway, each and every time he's looking down at you and extending his hand and inviting you to sit down at the table and have, I guess, supper with him. Okay, him and all these the peanut gallery over here, like the apostles. Okay, so that's one of the kind of cool things Leonardo did with this painting. It's a part of the room, obviously, because it's on the wall. It's attached to the wall, but it's a part of the room also, I guess, figuratively, metaphorically, because it completes the 4th side of that U-shaped table that I said would have been over here in this part of the room. Okay, and it makes it look like Jesus and the apostles are having a meal with you in this room. And plus, Jesus greets you when you walk in. Now, let me go. I said I was going to talk about this and get this shit out the way. The Da Vinci Code. Listen. Dan Brown. I don't know why he wrote this stupid thing. I'm sorry, I just don't. Let me read the first paragraph for you. Okay. The Da Vinci Code is a 2003 mystery thriller novel by Dan Brown. It is Brown's second novel to include the character Robert Langdon. The first was his 2000 novel Angels and Demons. What's that shit about? Ugh, I don't even care. The Da Vinci Code follows symbologists. Notice that there is no link here for symbology. Why? Because that study doesn't exist. Anyway, follows symbologist Robert Langdon and cryptologist. Yes, I guess cryptology is a thing, but symbology definitely not. Anyway, symbologist Robert Langdon and cryptologist Sophie Neveu, after a murder in the Louvre Museum in Paris causes them to become involved in a battle between the Prieuré of Sion and Opus Dei over the possibility of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene having had a child together. Okay. All right. Oh, Lord. And I mean, it's kind of obvious that Dan Brown got his inspiration for this story and whatever from Holy Blood, Holy Grail by that guy who's, the Priorius of Sion, the whole thing. Look it up. Look it up. But the novel explores an alternate religious history whose central plot point is that the Merovingian kings of France were descended from the bloodline of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. Ideas derived from Clive Prince's The Templar Revelation and books by Margaret Starbird. Also, there it goes. The book also refers to the Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, 1982, though Dan Brown has stated that it was not used as research material. My ass. Oh, please. The Da Vinci Code provoked a popular interest in speculation concerning the Holy Grail legend and Mary Magdalene's role in the history of Christianity. The book has, however, been extensively denounced by many Christian denominations as an attack on the Catholic Church and consistently criticized for its historical and scientific inaccuracies. Ay, ay, ay. The novel nonetheless became a massive worldwide bestseller that sold 80 million copies as of 2009. Is that when they stopped counting? Okay, and has been translated into 44 languages. In November 2004, Random House published a special illustrated edition with 160 illustrations. In 2006, a film adaptation was released by Columbia Pictures. Okay, that's all I'm going to read about that. Y'all, here goes the movie version. I'll put this all in the description. You can read this in your own time. It doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. Let's just put it that way. In this film, a noted British Grail historian, Sir Lee Teabing, oh God, tells them that the actual Holy Grail is explicitly encoded in Leonardo da Vinci's wall painting, The Last Supper. Also searching for the Grail is a secret cabal within Opus Dei, an actual prelature of the Holy See, who wish to keep the true Grail secret to prevent the destruction of Christianity. Oh, so many things wrong with this. So many things wrong with this. I don't believe that. Even if this were true, even if any of this shit were true, it wouldn't destroy Christianity. Opus Dei, from what I've been told, again, I don't know. This is secondhand knowledge from one of my professors, who I won't name. But they're just a bunch of thugs. That's what she called them. Thugs. I don't know what to think, but I'll just take my professor's word for it. A prelature of the Holy See. This is another issue. I don't know whether I should talk about this now or some other time. Yeah. But yeah, this would not destroy Christianity if for whatever reason Christians, Catholics were presented with new evidence, and confirmed evidence that Jesus, in fact, did sire a child with Mary Magdalene and what. No, that wouldn't destroy Christianity. It really wouldn't. Something else might, that I might or might not get into here. I don't know. I am going to talk a little bit about John the Baptist if I have time. We're already running up on an hour. So I just had to mention this book and this movie. I had to. I couldn't, not do that. But I've explained a little bit about how it was made, why it started deteriorating so quickly, what, Leonardo was trying to do visually with this. Also, these tapestries and whatever, don't ask me how they came to this conclusion, but in books that I read, probably by Martin Kemp, I'll just give him his props, the measurements in this painting contain Pythagorean ratios that have to do with music. That's called the Harmonia Perfecta Maxima. And so basically Leonardo built the mathematical measures or formulas of music into this painting, meaning that is supposed to be coded into the painting rather than this over here. No. The musical Pythagorean ratios, harmonia perfecta maxima, is in here. Why would it be in here? Because, think about it. Leonardo, they say he was a polymath, right? And that wait a minute, where's the thing? I was going to look at something too. Oh yeah, no. I wanted to, I thought I saw it in here earlier, but I could be wrong. Anyway, or maybe this. This is universally accepted, the adoration of the Magi. Okay, but anyway, so this is what they call him right away, a polymath. So he was into a lot of things. And they mention all of this stuff that he did: painting, draftsman, engineer, scientist, theorist, sculptor, and architect. But from what I was told, okay, and also what his notebooks on several subjects: anatomy, astronomy, botany, cartography, painting, and paleontology. They don't mention theater design or set design for theaters or pageants or whatever, theatrical performances. But he did that too, according to one of my professors, okay, which again will remain unnamed. This is another one I'm referring to now. So he did stage design. So look again at this painting. All right. And look at how this table and all of these characters are pushed up to the very front of what visually looks very much like a stage. Okay? So, and that's also why these musical ratios are built into the measurements of the image. To remind whoever's looking, whoever knows how to look for that kind of shit, because who would think, just from the naked eye looking at this, that you would find Pythagorean ratios that have to do with music. But this scene that you're looking at isn't just to greet you when you come into the room to have your meal, or to come, to make it look like Jesus and the apostles are having lunch with you. No, they're also meant to entertain the viewer. So don't forget that art, especially during this time in history, please don't forget they didn't have TV, radio, internet, movies, Netflix, Hulu. They didn't have none of that. They had live performances if they wanted to be entertained. And many of those live performances and pageants and what have you involved acting, it involved music, and it involved depictions or retellings of religious stories. Okay, the Bible is chock full of intrigue and mystery and scandal and murder and everything. So of course, why not? So that's what you're looking at. You might be looking at like a scene from a play or a musical performance, maybe even an opera, that either really was like being shown at the time, or that Leonardo just had in his head. He wanted to make this look like a theatrical production. And these are all the actors here. And that's why they're all so dramatic. Okay? Yeah, the 4 groups of 3. And we'll get into that in a minute. They're also... Jesus is just as cool as a cucumber here. And everybody's like, shocked and scandalized in this painting, because Jesus has just announced this, the Last Supper, and they've just finished eating and whatever. That's why there's like no food on the table, except these little, I don't even know what they are. I need to look it up. But they look like little bread rolls to me, like those little King's Hawaiian rolls or whatever. But Jesus has just announced to his apostles, one of you is going to betray me. And they're all like, excuse me? What'd you say, Jesus? One of us is going to betray you. No, and they're all like arguing over who it's going to be, or has Jesus lost his damn mind by saying that out loud. And there's this gesture here. Look at this. Look at it. There's this gesture that we see in other... Is that why... hold on now. Where are you? Yeah. Oh, well, now that's the sign of benediction. But there he is. St. John the Baptist. With this same pointing thing. I'm sure the conspiracy theorists have an explanation for that. I do not, because I haven't looked into it and I don't know. I know it's something, but what it is, I sure don't know. But he's just made his announcement and they're all like shocked and appalled and whatever. And that part of it isn't discussed nearly enough. So this is Judas over here, the one in darkness and leaning away from Jesus. Okay, he's the one. He's the one. The rest of them are trying to figure out who it is. And Jesus doesn't say who it is. He just says one of you. And I think in the painting there's like a little sack of money next to the 30 pieces of silver. Okay, so let's go back here. And that's why I love Wikipedia. I don't have to like do any research. These paintings that you see, they are reproductions. The Last Supper, circa 1520, by Gian Pietrino, oil on canvas in the collection of the Royal Academy of the Arts. The full-scale copy was the main source for the. Oh, this was the main source for the 1979 to 1998 restoration of the individual. So a lot of people copied this painting, and they went to Milan solely for the purpose of copying the painting and disseminating it. Now, what I do want to do is enlarge this a little bit. Okay, I always thought there was no food on the table in the Last Supper. Apparently there is. Apparently there's a bunch of food on the table. There's this thing here, which might be, I mean, it looks like poultry, but it's probably lamb. And I'll tell you why in a minute. There's the spilt salt cellar that has to do with some Bible verse. There's Judas clutching his money bag. There's this. Is this a lemon or an egg? I'm not sure. Oh, I think it's eggs. Eggs, bread, which kind of doesn't make sense. Oh, it only makes sense in a Christian context, and we'll get into that in a second. Again, more pieces of bread. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is in front of Jesus. Here's his right hand is reaching for something, I guess. Is it this glass of wine? I don't know. I just don't know. But we have all these eggs and what look like little buns on the table. And here's some more. I think lamb. Don't quote me. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I would assume lamb, because this is done during the Passover. Okay, this is a Passover. So when you're looking at the Last Supper, you're looking at a depiction of a Passover Seder, and we're going to get into that in a second. So here's the apostles. There's Judas. He just looks terrible. This is the one they say is supposed to be Mary Magdalene, and they say it's because she doesn't have a beard, and all the men at the time had well, what about this guy? He doesn't have a beard either. That's why I just no. But where's the thing? Hold on. Oh, there we go. This is I don't know if I'll read all of these out to you, but if you want to know like which apostle is depicted at which spot in the painting, this is the list. Okay, so there are 4 groups of 3: Bartholomew James, son of Alphaeus, and Andrew. Okay, and then there's Judas, Peter. Oh, Peter is important. There he is, and John. Okay, John the apostle. Okay, and then there's the central figure here, you know who. And then in this grouping of 3, Thomas, James the Greater, and Philip. Okay, and then Matthew, Jude Thaddeus, and Simon the Zealot. Okay, and now who is the one doing this gesture with the finger pointing upward? Well, none other than the doubting one, the doubting Thomas. So maybe that's what this gesture means. Maybe it's like what I was talking about in one of my videos with all the way back. If you're interested, if you made it this far in the video and you're still listening, you are awesome. But I did a video about, where is it? Oh, Lord. I'll find it. I know I will. No, it was before this. I know I didn't erase it. I did a video about iconography, and I talked about Erwin Panofsky and the idea of disguised symbolism. Is that what this is? So this St. John the Baptist with the finger pointing upward, and then we have Doubting Thomas with his finger also pointing upward. Is that just a sign of, like, is that a clue? Is that a code for the viewer, or at least the viewer who's in the know, to know that whatever you're looking at, take it with a grain of salt? Is that what this gesture means? Don't totally trust what you're looking at in this scene because it's not true or didn't happen or never happened, or I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking about the possibilities, which is what I do. Okay. So we have that. So if you want to go through that list again, go ahead. All right. And I wanted to talk briefly. Okay, so we have St. John the Baptist. See, this is a cartoon. This is what I was talking to you about. The Virgin and Child with St. Anne, Jesus' grandma, and St. John the Baptist, apparently his cousin, sometimes called the Burlington House cartoon. It's a drawing by Leonardo da Vinci. The drawing is in charcoal and black and white chalk on 8 sheets of paper that are glued together. Because of its large size and format, the drawing is presumed to be a cartoon for a painting. I've already explained to you what a cartoon is. The drawing depicts the Virgin Mary seated on the thigh of her mother, St. Anne, while holding the Christ child, as Christ's young cousin, John the Baptist, stands to the right. It currently hangs in the National Gallery in London. Okay. And this thing was made right around the time, or like right after he made the Last Supper. All right. Something's going on. And again, and if you don't know, like, the history of, or like just the Bible stories about John the Baptist was the one who baptized Jesus. And he had his own kind of little cult following going, so he didn't, that's why he's not here. None of these are John the Baptist. That's why he is not included in the apostles. He wasn't one of Jesus's followers. He had his own thing going on. And from what I've heard, again, from my professors, like in that, during that part of history when Christianity was like taking hold or about to take hold, it was kind of a contest between who would be like the central figure of Christianity. Was it going to be Jesus or John the Baptist? Which is very interesting, if you ask me. There's also the issue of John the Baptist and his decapitation by Salome, and that story, which is interesting, but I don't have time to get into it. Maybe one day, maybe I'll do another Leonardo painting about this painting, and which one, where it's like the little babies hugging. Yeah, where's the damn thing? Oh yeah, the holy infants embracing. Okay, that's John the Baptist and Jesus. They're the holy infants, not one, two of them. So this John the Baptist figure is very important enough to not have followed Jesus, but have been doing his own thing. Something's wrong. In my opinion, something's wrong. But let me keep going. So that's why I wanted to talk about this one in particular. Jesus as a figure, he's being represented here in the Last Supper. I mean, that's obvious, isn't it? It doesn't take a whole lot to understand what you're looking at, especially if you're a Christian. But please let me read you this first paragraph. Jesus, circa 4 BC to AD 30 or 33. They're not sure. They're not sure how old he was when he died. They're not sure when he was born. Okay, look at this down here. Circa 4 BC, the Herodian kingdom of Judea. The Herodian kingdom of Judea is responsible for John the Baptist's death. I wish I had time to go into it. I'm sorry, I don't. Died AD 30 or 33, aged between 33 and 36, Jerusalem, Judea, Roman Empire. Cause of death, crucifixion. No, cause of death, according to the story, is betrayal. They're not keeping it real here. But, I'm sorry. Anyway, he was the first century Jewish preacher and religious leader. He is the central figure of Christianity. the world's largest religion. Most Christians believe he is the incarnation of God the Son and the awaited Messiah, the Christ, prophesied in the Hebrew Bible. Okay, let me explain something to you about the Bible. So that's why this video is going to be so long. The Old Testament, this is Christian theology. This is, I don't know, medieval scholasticism. I have no idea, but this is how it's explained. The Old Testament predicts the New Testament. According to Christianity and Christian theology, the Old Testament predicts the New Testament. So everything you read, if you're a Christian, everything you read in the Old Testament is just what's the word? I can't think of the word. A foreshadowing or a herald of things to come in the New Testament. And every story you read, especially every major story in the Old Testament, is mirrored in the New Testament by Jesus and his, I guess, adventures as they're described in the Gospels or whatever. So so we have the very first people in the Bible, Adam and then Eve. Okay, and Adam and Eve made all kinds of mistakes. First they ate the fruit that they weren't supposed to be eating, and then they gave birth to like that horrible child Cain, and etc. They had other children, not just Cain and Abel, but and I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. But so Adam and Eve are the first man and woman created by God. And so who are the new Adam and the new Eve in the New Testament? Jesus is the new Adam. Mary is the new Eve. Okay? And another thing, in the Old Testament, King David is like a big, really, really, really big deal. So Jesus is supposed to be descended from the Davidic line through his mother, Mary. So that would make him earthly royalty and heavenly royalty through both sides of his family, so to speak. And David, and not only is Jesus descended from David, he's also actually descended from Adam. Yes. So because David is descended from Adam, and it's called, that whole family tree is called the tree of Jesse, Jesse. That was King David's father, Jesse. And Jesse is descended from not Cain, not Abel, but another son of Adam and Eve. I think his name was, I don't want to get it wrong, so please don't quote me, but I think his name was Shem or something like that. That's how Jesus is related to Adam and Eve. If you didn't know that, now you do. You can go ahead and I'm sure I made a couple mistakes in there. I don't know if it's really the son of Adam and Eve is really named Shem. You can look that stuff up. But all this other stuff, trust and believe I'm telling you the truth about what these beliefs are and what it is that you're supposed to believe if you are a Catholic or Christian or even a Muslim, I think. But anyway, and I said the word Jewish twice when I read this paragraph because everybody always forgets that Jesus was in fact Jewish. Okay? And that is extremely important to this story that we're looking at here. That's why I mentioned Judaism twice. St. John the Baptist. I don't know if I'll talk about this today. I just don't know. I don't know if I have that kind of time. Maybe later, maybe another installment in my Renaissance series, whatever. But this is the one that I said, John the Baptist is supposed to have been a rival of Jesus. And anyway, John the Baptist is important because he's the one who baptizes Jesus. Why is baptism important? Period. Because it's supposed to sort of give you a clean slate if you decide to become a Christian. But what people don't kind of realize again is baptism is also based in Jewish religious practices. They also have ritual bathing in Judaism. So, that's where that baptism thing came from. I'm just trying to keep it real. Okay, here's this. Why am I on this page? Oh yeah, John the Baptist. Okay. He was a mission preacher, active in the area of the Jordan River, which is where Jesus got baptized. In the early 1st century AD, he's also known as John the Forerunner. Oh, I wonder why they named him that. In Christianity, John the Immerser in some Baptist Christian traditions, and Prophet Yahya in Islam. He is sometimes alternately referred to as John the Baptizer. John is mentioned by the Roman Jewish historian Josephus. I need to look into this Josephus character a little better. Flavius Josephus. For several reasons. I'll save it for another video, but not now. Mentioned by Josephus, he is revered as a major religious figure. Okay, cool. We're going to get into this. We are going to get into this. Oh, what did I also want to talk about? I told you, when you're looking at this painting, you're looking at basically a Jewish religious ceremony. It is the Passover Seder. Okay, what is the Passover? Well, that's why I opened up Wikipedia to help us out. Y'all, we don't need school anymore. We have the internet. We have the internet. We have Wikipedia. We're good. Passover, also called Pesach, is a major Jewish holiday that celebrates the biblical story of the Israelites' escape from slavery in Egypt, which occurs on the 15th day of the Hebrew month of Nisan, the first month of Aviv or spring. The word Pesach or Passover can also refer to the Korban Pesach, the Paschal. Okay, listen to this carefully. The Paschal lamb that was offered when the temple in Jerusalem stood, to the Passover Seder, the ritual meal on Passover night, or to the Feast of Unleavened Bread. One of the biblically ordained 3 pilgrimage festivals, Passover is traditionally celebrated in the land of Israel for 7 days and for 8 days among many Jews in the diaspora, based on the concept of, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but you can see it. In the Bible, the 7-day holiday is known as Chag HaMatzot, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, Matzo. Okay. I'm going to keep reading because this is extremely important. According to the book of Exodus, God commanded Moses. Moses is a huge, very important figure in the Old Testament. God commanded Moses to tell the Israelites to mark a lamb's blood above their doors in order that the angel of death would pass over them. In other words, that they would not be touched by the 10th plague, death of the firstborn. Okay, y'all, are you starting to see parallels between this and the story of Jesus? Y'all. Okay, Mary and Joseph, the flight into Egypt. Okay, Jesus very narrowly survived infancy. Okay, after the death of the firstborn, Pharaoh ordained the Israelites to leave, taking whatever they want, and asked Moses to bless him in the name of the Lord. The passage goes on to state that the Passover sacrifice recalls the time when God passed over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt. This story is recounted at the Passover meal in the form of the Haggadah, I hope I pronounced that correctly, in fulfillment of the command, and thou shalt tell Higgadara, oh dear goodness, Higgadara, thy son, in that day, saying, It is because of that which the Lord did for me when I came forth out of Egypt. The wave offering of barley was offered at Jerusalem on the 2nd day of the festival. The counting of the sheaves, I don't know what a sheaf is. Oh dear. Oh, ripe grain, okay, is still practiced for 7 weeks until the Feast of Weeks on the 50th day, the holiday of Shavuot. Nowadays, in addition to the biblical prohibition of owning leavened foods for the duration of the holiday, the Passover Seder, at which the Haggadah is read out aloud, is one of the most widely observed rituals in Judaism. Now, this does not happen in this is not happening during Christmas season, winter holiday season. This happens about the same time as Easter every year. Okay? Now, and I think we're doing, like, this part of the year, winter, December, it's Hanukkah. But during, springtime, is Passover and Easter, which are the major holidays celebrated during that time of the year. Now, please read. I mean, if you want to read through this, read through all this. This is good stuff. This is a good education you'll be getting here about the matzah, about how they set the table, about what they eat for a Seder and why, and so on and so forth. Okay, 4 cups of wine. Hello, and that's why I wanted to show you. I think I already showed you one of these reproductions. This is by Gian Pietrino, and this is Andrea Solari. And the reason it's good to look at these is to give you an idea of what the original looked like when it was fresh and brand new. Like I said, these eggs are possibly roasted eggs. These legs that you see on the plates in front of these are probably not the Da Vinci Code, the Passover sacrifice, the Paschal lamb. Okay, so this is why Jesus is called the Lamb of God. All right, what is eaten? The Seder plate. Bitter herbs, or also known as maror. Cheseret is typically romaine lettuce, whose roots are bitter tasting, in addition to horseradish and romaine lettuce. Okay, so you get the idea. Endive, charosé, a sweet brown pebbly paste of fruits and nuts. Okay. Karpas, a vegetable other than bitter herbs, sometimes parsley or celery or cooked potato. All right. Zeroah, a roasted lamb or goat bone, symbolizing the Korban Pesach sacrifice, which was a lamb offered in the Temple of Jerusalem and was then roasted and eaten as part of the meal on Seder night. And then, last but not least, the roasted egg, which is usually a hard-boiled egg that has been roasted in a baking pan with a little oil or whatever. Okay. Now, to read this, like this list of foods, and then compare it to this year. Now, I don't see any matzo because I don't know, like maybe I don't know. I need to look it up on the page. Hold up. I don't know if I'll look it up right now, but I don't know if I'll look it up right now, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in this painting. Okay, so what is basically being said by not just by this painting, mind you, but the whole like Easter thing and the whole Eucharist that's done if you're a Catholic every time you go to Mass, all of that is, again with the Da Vinci Code, I'm sorry, all of that has to do with the Passover. Okay, so this is in its own kind of way a continuation of whatever it is that this holiday is about. I kind of just read to you what it's about. It's the freedom. They were freed from slavery in Egypt. Now, I guess the Passover sacrifice or the Paschal lamb, yeah, well, that's Jesus. Okay, that's Jesus. He's the Paschal lamb. Matzo. I mean, there's issues with this. Like, if these are little buns here on the table, like, that is not authentic. They wouldn't have had buns. Again, that's assuming that they are buns. They might not be, but they're differentiated from the eggs. So, what I'm saying is, what you could be getting from this painting is a really good history lesson. A really good biblical history lesson. And Leonardo, if I'm right about this, yeah, where's the thing? Where's the thing? Do I have it open here? God, no, I don't. Sorry. But what you could be getting, there he is. Okay. If this gesture means what I think it means, that the painting is encoded with some kind of secret information, or at least information that's not readily available to the general public, like you have to study really hard and go spelunking down rabbit holes and what have you. Is that what he's saying about this painting? Is there something here? The fact that this is the part of the story where Jesus announces that somebody's going to betray him, you know who, and it's happened during a Passover Seder, right after they've eaten, and right after they've gone through the ceremony of everything that is done during a Passover Seder, and the lamb and the unleavened bread and the bitter herbs and all this stuff. Okay, and Jesus is supposed to, again, New Testament is new, Old Testament is old. All right? And there's an empty plate in front of him. I guess he's offering himself up as the sacrifice, eh? But if this is encoded with some kind of secret knowledge, what is that knowledge? And obviously it's connected to this in some way, shape, or form. It is. It just is. There's no way it can't be. Okay? In my opinion. What is it? Why? Why? Why are these... Why? I mean, I can't think of a much more intelligent question than that at this point. I've already kind of discussed this painting. Like, why it looks the way it does, that's a whole nother discussion, okay? Like the style of painting or whatever, that's just what they were doing at the time in the Renaissance. They were trying to revive, the glory of the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans and the humanists from back then, this revival, this Renaissance, rebirth of knowledge from back then. So they were still caught up in... the world of antiquity. They say that they rediscovered these things. It wasn't so much of a rediscovery, but like a renewed interest, I think. But what's going on? John the Baptist. Am I going to talk about him? No, I've already said enough. Well, let me see this. Okay, so, interesting. Not going to talk about that right now. But Jesus. John the Baptist. The Last Supper. Ludovico Sforza making this kind of like the main attraction of his monastery, Santa Maria della Grazia Dominican monastery. Is there secret knowledge here? Jesus is greeting the person who's entering this room. I already showed you that here. This is the painting as it appears. Like I said, you have to look up to see this thing. All right. Why and how? Don't ask me. But obviously this is meant, maybe just because Jesus is meant to be revered. And look at the receding space. Okay, this is what perspective was all about. Making a two-dimensional surface look like it's an extension of the room that you're in. This is all about tricking the eye. Trompe-l'œil. I always keep trying to pronounce that. But this is it. It's supposed to mimic the real world with the depth of the real world, and to make you feel like the painting that you're looking at is part of the real world. Okay, keep that in mind. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Okay, and you can look through all this stuff on your own. There's plenty of information here. This is how the painting looked in the 1970s. A mess. And I guess this is the restored version, eh? Okay, so they had plenty of work to do. And then they're going to talk about how it's parodied in modern art and stuff like that, other speculation. I'm not going to go into other speculation. I just can't. I cannot do that right now. But I've explained, I think, I hope the point of this video is to pique your curiosity. Like, I have a certain thing in mind. And I opened up this one too, just, why not? Salvator Mundi, another one that is, let me look at the list. Is it disputed or is it accepted? Hold on. I just have to know now. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Where is it? Where is it? Is Salvator Mundi even on this list? I could have sworn I saw it. Where are you? There you are. Generally accepted. That's not good enough to me. But I put this here for a reason. Let me read this part in the list of works. It says generally accepted Salvator Mundi. I might do a whole separate video about this one. Previously presumed to be a later copy of the lost original painting, purchased in 2005 and restored. I don't believe that for a second, but let's keep it moving. It has gained only few acceptance. It has gained only few acceptance as Leonardo's original. Pentimenti, changes to the composition, were found in the thumb of Christ's right hand and elsewhere, which are indicators of the painting's status as an original. The painting set a new record for sales price, 450 million, when auctioned by Christie's. I want to know who bought it. I really want to know who bought it. But anyway, Matthew Landris, I don't know who that is, considers it to be primarily the work of Bernardino Luini. In the 2021 documentary The Lost Leonardo, Frank Zellner said, "You have the old parts of the painting which are original, these are by pupils, and the new parts of the painting which look like Leonardo, but they are by the restorer. In some part it's a masterpiece by Diane Modestini." Well, they just told you everything you need to know right there. In 2021, the Spanish Prado downgraded the painting to a partial attribution. In 2002, the Encyclopedia Britannica noted, "No official record of the painting's attribution officially exists." Yeah, I'm going to have to do a video about this. This is a mess. It's a mess. Where's the page? Hold on. No, that's not it. This one. This is, look. Look at it. Something is deeply wrong here. And this is the earlier version. Okay. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. I'm going to do a video about this. But something's wrong with this. Something's wrong. I can't believe that this is an actual painting by actual Leonardo da Vinci. Can't do it. I cannot. Oh, Lord, this is who bought it. Oh, who the hell is this? The painting was sold at auction. Yeah, for a lot of money. In 2017 by Christie's in New York to Prince Badr bin Abdullah Al Saud. Oh my God. Oh, Lord. I need to look this guy up. Something is wrong. Something is deeply wrong. I'll get into it in another video. But the reason I wanted you to see this, not just because it's allegedly done by Leonardo da Vinci, but because this is also allegedly done by Leonardo da Vinci. And, all these works here that I went through, I told you, only 8 of them are universally accepted. Only 8. For a figure, for an artist, for this man's name is synonymous with the word art, more or less. You would think that they would have a little more than just 8 works that are universally accepted as actually done by him. In some way, shape, or form. Done by him. By Leonardo da Vinci. You'd think they'd do a little better than 8. Something's wrong. Something is wrong. Now, notice how I started this video. I said I was going to talk about the Last Supper. I sure did. And I talked about, doubting Thomas and John the Baptist's gestures with their fingers pointing upwards at who knows what. Who knows what, but pointing upwards, okay? Is that an indication that something is afoot? I don't know. Yes, that's how the painting is explained. It's supposed to be like, it's supposed to dazzle the people who visited Ludovico Sforza's refectory in his Dominican monastery, Santa Maria della Grazia, and complete the fourth side of the table and greet the people who were coming in and just be a general like showpiece for this place, right? Ludovico Sforza, was a major patron of Leonardo's work. And like I said, it's pointing to all kinds of things. Pointing to is probably like the operative word, right? Pointing to all kinds of things. Now, I've already explained that I have no respect for this whatsoever. None. Because, why? This is sensationalism. This is based on things that probably have no basis in reality. I mean, they already just invented a profession. They invented a study, symbology. Like, come on. To fool people and to distract people away from possibly researching actual history. Not this garbage, but like actual real history. About religion, about art, about Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo or any of the Ninja Turtles or any of the other Renaissance masters or whatever. No, people are not going to learn real history. They're going to read this shit, or probably not even read it, just watch this ridiculous movie, and think that they actually learned something. That's why it pisses me off. They're not going to learn about Christianity. They're not going to learn about Judaism. They're not going to learn about the Bible and why it's important to know about that book, even today in this modern world, because it controls a lot of stuff that's going on, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not. I don't care whether or not you choose to or consider even acknowledging that fact, but yes, even in our secular world today, this stuff that you're looking at rules the roost. All right? And I said rules the roost for a reason, but you can figure that out in your own time. What else do I want to say? Okay, this figure. And I'm making this video for Christmas. This figure. Oh my goodness. So, if this so many tabs. If this painting is authentic, which I don't believe for 1 second that it is, then what's going on with this? What in the world is going on? And this figure that we're looking at, John the Baptist. John the Baptist and Jesus, cousins. Okay. Salome, don't forget Salome. Read the story. Or I might do a separate video about it. I don't know. That's the thing about art history. I know my video about this whole subject here has been extremely confusing and has gone and hopped around from one place to another place to a third place to a fourth place. That's how it works. So basically, if you were going to write an essay about this, you would have to pick one issue and stick with it. You wouldn't be able to branch off. If you're writing a dissertation, okay, maybe that's a little different, but depending on what your advisor would allow you to do. But listen, something's going on. Something's going on that people like him, Dan Brown, are preventing from being actually discussed. People think that, the arguments are that historic and scientific inaccuracies. The Christians think it's an attack on the church. Actually, no, it's not. In its own way, it has renewed interest in religion in a way that like few other things could. And in that way, this book and this movie have a little bit in common with The Exorcist, but in my opinion, The Exorcist does it better. And The Exorcist is doing, I don't know if you're listening, Exorcist reviews, but in my opinion, William Peter Blatty was doing good work for a good reason and trying to help humanity. Dan Brown, not so much. This is my opinion. But I've hopped around from place to place to place, kind of hinting at things, kind of not saying things all the way out loud. And the point of all of this was to get you to think about what's going on. Because a lot of us think we know what's going on. None of us have any idea, really. Those of us who are curious, we read, we turn thoughts over and over and over again in our heads like grilled cheese sandwiches. And we have yet to come to any conclusion. The spheres of knowledge and the disseminators of culture, the purveyors of culture, knowledge, what we call education or whatever, kind of prevent us from actually doing any real learning. That is my opinion. That is my opinion. I mean, everything in this video, in my videos, is my opinion. I think that's a no-brainer. I don't think I even need to really articulate that, but just in case, like every now and again I say, oh no, I'm just dealing with my opinion here. I'm just telling you my opinion. My opinion is that something is going on. My opinion is that something needs to be done in order to, maybe overhaul the education system or something so that we can figure this kind of stuff out in a kind of a better way, a more cohesive way. People need to communicate. People need to exchange ideas. People need to question things very strongly and seriously. What's going on with this painting, this mural, this artist, this whole thing, all the stuff that I'm clicking on and showing you, all the wiki pages, having to do with them, right? We need to figure this shit out. We really do. Because until we do, or until we try, it's not necessarily the destination, but it is the journey. The journey is very important. Until we, really seriously get on that journey as a human race and try to figure things out seriously, we're never going to really know what's going on. We're never going to really know what's going on or be able to make sense of things. Art, some people say art tells the truth. I say it lies. And that's not necessarily a bad thing all the time. Stanley Kubrick is doing a lot of lying in The Shining. But it's all for a good cause. Now, I don't know if I said anything. I have no idea whether or not I said anything. Did I say something? Did I say nothing? Did I ramble for no good reason? I left you all kinds of hints and clues. You can think about this on your own, in your own time. Figure it out this way, that way, the other way. Whatever way makes sense to you. Something ain't right. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing a video about this here. I need to know more about this Al Saud character who dropped $450.3 million on a painting that isn't even really ironclad attributed to Leonardo da Vinci. Oh no, we're going to have to talk about this. But I think that's about it for now. I can't kind of think of what else I want to say. Like I said, I don't do a script. I don't do notes. I don't plan. I just don't. This is how I do this, for better or for worse. If you like it, that's awesome. If you don't like it, I'm not going to apologize, but you don't have to watch it. You don't, if you don't like it. So with all of that being said, I think I'm about to kind of wrap it up. Okay? Let me know, you guys. Let me know how you feel about anything I've said. Do you think I've hit on something? However cryptically I'm saying it. Do you think what do you think? Just what do you think? I would absolutely love to hear it read it. Read it in the comments. What do you think? Do you think I'm onto something? Do you think I'm just a babbling fool? Let me know. Let me know in the comments, and then we can have a little discussion in the comments. In the upcoming videos, I wanted to do this so much, this Leonardo video. I don't know whether or not I did a good job, but we shall see. coming up pretty soon, probably between Christmas and New Year, is going to be the Shining and Kill Bill videos. So stay tuned for that. And also let me know if there's any artwork that you want me to review, take a look at, you know, analyze in my own little way. So that's that. So everybody, I want to reiterate, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Happy holidays, Happy New Year. And until I find yet another reason to talk at you, I'm going to go ahead and bid you bye-bye. So, bye-bye, everybody.